One of my buddies at school, he was originally from Africa, and I remember when I told him that I was black, he was just like, "Oh, my brother!"
How's it going? I'm Carlos. I'm half Mexican, half Nicaraguan.
My name is Melinda. I'm Native American and Mexican.
My name's David Matthews. I am white and black.
Today during the video, what did people guess about you?
That I was white, 100%. Everybody said that I was white.
I want to say that you might be white.
I'm gonna say he's white.
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 Do you pass as white?
All the time. Nobody second guesses that I'm white in any situation, pretty much. For the most part, it doesn't come up at all because I look so white.
Yeah, it happens a lot because I tend to be a little ambiguous, especially with people of color most of the time. They won't accept that I'm Latino, or people are shocked when they hear me speak Spanish.
You speak Spanish?
I do, fluent.
Motherfucker, say
Yeah.
some stuff.
Why? ¿Por qué? Porque tengo que hablar español.
He speaks Spanish.
Even between Latino friends, you're always labeled as güero, which means like the white one.
People think I'm mixed, but that's a different complexity, and that's usually coming from like the black communities identifying me as mixed. But like white people always knew I was different, and like brown and black people always like accepted me more quickly.
So I'm part white. Yeah, my mom's white, but my dad's from Hawaii, so I'm Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Asian.
Sneaky.
Yeah. I guess over the course of this, I've been saying like white, Asian, Pacific Islander, Hawaiian, and those are the boxes are normally checked in the census, but I think there's always a feeling of all of the above and none of the above.
Coming to the US, in the beginning I would just automatically pick other because everything else didn't seem to apply, until one day there was one that had between parentheses it elaborated what white was, and it said that white was a person of European, Middle Eastern, or North African descent. So I was like, oh wait, guess I'm white. So I Googled it, and it turns out that legally in the US I'm considered white, even though I don't get identified as white.
I don't identify as white, although I am part German, Irish, Swedish, and French.
Do you like Tom Hanks?
I like him in Forrest Gump. My favorite actor is Jim Carrey, though.
Jim Carrey.
Talk again for me. Just say, hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you doing? White people feel comfortable talking to me. They assume that we have common interests. They look more at our similarities than our differences.
I've definitely had white girls date me just because they like anime, or they're into that sort of culture, and they want to break off a little piece of that's in a palatable, easily consumable, half-white deconstruction of what that is.
I never really even thought about anything but being white until people started mistaking me for other things.
He's like Aladdin.
What's Aladdin?
He flies on carpets and he hangs out with...
What's his ethnicity?
He's brown. Aladdin is brown.
I'll go with non-white.
I don't think the person is white, so you're not white.
Okay.
If you're white, I'm gonna be mad.
That was super surprising to me. Growing up in New Mexico, everyone thought I was white. So that's kind of interesting for me to look at my own history and think about what it, where I really come from. But I experienced the world as a white person.
Did anything shock you today or surprise you?
Yeah, I think everyone guessed that I was not white or a person of color. So that was really interesting because I've never really considered myself, either of those things. But I guess I am.
Being somebody who doesn't pass for white, I think people are constantly making assumptions about me. I'm also a queer person in the world, so to be queer and brown and identified as femme or a woman, it doesn't really feel good because I just feel I'm just the other, literally the other category.
What's your ethnicity?
I identify as white, but my mom is Native American, so I'm half white, half Native American.
What tribe?
Monacan Indian from Virginia.
I mean, do people ever ask you what your ethnicity is?
No. Everybody's where in Europe are you from? What Scandinavian country? I can put it, click the little Native American box on a census or school forms, but I just never did it.
Yeah, why?
I don't know, I guess because blonde hair, blue eyes, I think people said that today, you just look white.
But girl, how much Native are you? Are you half and half?
Yeah,
Don't check that box. Check the other box.
Yeah.
You're beautiful. There's something more to you. Don't Don't water yourself down for society, sweetie.
I thought the whole exchange with Rin, like she was kind of getting on you about it. Like, how did you feel in that moment?
That made me feel like she's probably right. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's like something I need to explore personally. Like question myself, like why don't I? Because I think it's something to be proud of, and I've always been proud of it. It's just like not something I really share.
Do you feel any kind of privilege with passing as white?
Oh, for sure. I don't face any of the struggles that my dad did. Like, as growing up as a black person, like, people would follow him in stores. People would lock their doors as he walks by. I just have none of that whatsoever.
Do you feel privileged?
Yeah. I know there's some Jewish people that don't identify as white, which kind of puzzles me because I feel like Jews experience privileges of being white, and they may have not in the past, but they do now. I guess it's kind of interesting when people started mistaking me as not being white. It kind of made me think differently about how I move throughout the world. Like, do people not think I'm white? Do people treat me differently because they don't think I'm white? Because I sure go around feeling like a white guy, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of puzzling.
Have you ever been treated unfairly because someone thought you were a person of color?
Yeah, I think if I'm mistaken as Arab, there's obviously a lot of like Islamophobia and stuff.
When people don't think you're white, what are annoying questions they ask you?
When they profile me as Mexican, it's annoying when they ask if I'm legal. They ask me to translate things for them.
People will make jokes. They'll like make a stereotype about black people or say something like that, and then I'll be like, hey, I'm actually half black. And then sometimes they'll be like, oh shit, like I'm sorry. No, oh, okay, I had no idea. Then some other times they're like, oh well, but you're not actually black. Like you would be offended. And it's like, no.
My demeanor is very different with like people of color versus like white people, and like with like the one white woman, like me telling her that my eyebrows were like fuck you, like I could tell I like scared her.
Oh, okay, yeah, you have part of your eyebrow is shaved.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I don't know,
I did it
decoration?
myself.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's my way of telling people not to fuck with me.
Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, people really read it that way, and it's great.
Nice. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, like I'm like the least like scary person, but like that's why I need this. And it was just interesting because I was like, oh, like is that a microaggression? Like is that racism? Because you're afraid of like this perception of me and like why I am flagging. And as a white person, I think like her being like, oh, I don't want to fuck with you. Like that's exactly why I do it. So white people like her don't fuck with me,
Do you think surprised you today?
It's pretty much what I've gone on the basis of like, okay, I don't know what you really are. You're not really white, but you are white.
I thought today was very thought-provoking just because I've dealt with it my whole life. I thought, I was pretty good about not putting people in a box and making those assumptions and looking more for similarities. But today I think my eyes were opened even wider, that I still do it.
What do you think of today?
Just that like you can't really tell who someone is based on their superficial characteristics, and it's not really fair to just label people without actually talking to them at all.
I think I learned more about myself and like just the ways that I obviously engage and don't.
I guess whiteness, like what is whiteness? It's just like ever changing, the definition of it in the US.